Hi guys. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm actually finally making this video. I have been waiting to make this video for the longest time, and it's about to get really a lot of you guys are not gonna agree with me about what I'm about to say. It's about to get really controversial up in here, and I have my notes so I can refer to my notes. It's gonna get really interesting up in here. Today I am ranking my favorite or I'm ranking all of the American Horror Story seasons from least favorite to most favorite, and giving you like a review and my opinions about each one. So before I jump in, just want to say that you do not have to agree with me, and odds are you will not, because I have pretty unpopular opinions about this, so you don't have to agree with me, but you know, like I've been watching other videos where people rank the seasons, and one of the videos I totally disagreed with. So this is a hard video for anyone to do because each season is so different. I'm doing least favorite to most favorite in that order, so you guys will see when I get closer to my favorites that some are like not interchangeable, but like my third favorite season has the potential to be my first favorite season, and some of the seasons like before that, I don't know, like they're really hard to rank because they're so different. But I did my hardest and I have notes, and first I want to say what I look for in American Horror Story. I watch it for just the plot, only the plot, nothing but the plot. And whether or not I get bored very often. That's what I kind of look for in these seasons. So like I said, these were hard to do, and it took me a while to do this, and I can tell you right now, if you would have asked me like to do this video 4 years ago, I would have had different answers. I watched it again to get more of to like analyze it more and to like really, I don't know, you should just to figure more things out about it. And I think that my list that I have is as about as accurate as it's gonna be for me. My top 3 favorites I don't think will ever change, ever. My top 1 will never change, and I'll get to that. But anyway, let's just talk about like let's just get into it. So my least favorite one is Cult. Not only was this season lacking in what I look for in a good season, but it was giving us stuff that we never asked for. Like, first of all, Lily was not in it at all. So that was kind of not my cup of tea, to be honest with you. But I loved that Sarah had a lead role. That was so cool to watch because Sarah like literally took over that, and that was really cool to watch because I don't know. And Evan like took over it too, but he was awful. And I did not like how politically charged it was, because just the extremes of it, like they painted liberals in like a psychopath, paranoid kind of light, and they painted Republicans in a like psychopath, kill everybody, racist, kind of type. So it was very, I did not like how like the extremes that they had and how they made like liberals look bad and Republic. Like, I did not like the political stuff of it at all. That was not my thing. Twisty scares the shit out of me. Like, Twisty legitimately scares me. I'm gonna get to Freak Show in a minute. People say that Freak Show wasn't horror and that it wasn't scary. I'm sorry, but if Twisty is not scary and if Twisty is not horror, please don't tell me what horror actually is, because holy crap, that was not my thing. And also Colt put me in a really weird spot trying to judge it, because I mean, you see how I did, it's my least favorite spot, but like, it was really hard to judge because I did not hate this at first. I did not hate it. I don't think I ever really, I don't hate any part of American Horror Story, but like, at first I didn't really hate it, and I was kind of neutral to it. It wasn't awful. It was like, it wasn't boring, but it also wasn't exciting at the same time. So at first it was hard for me to judge like where I would put this. But once it got to the middle and the end, it got so much worse. It got really boring. And something that American Horror Story does a lot is it intertwines storylines that I do not care about and I did not ask for. And Colt is notorious for doing this. Like, with the whole Zodiac Killer thing and the whole, like, anti-men thing, it was just very, like, I understand, like, it was a cult, so I understand why it was there. It was just very boring. Like, I don't even know why. I think it's just because, like, besides who Evan was, I didn't know any of these people. Like, it was, I don't know, it was weird, and it was, not my favorite, and I think it is a season that definitely distracted from the main plot a lot. And I don't know. It's notoriously a bad season. Okay. Now we're gonna get to 1984. Let me tell you guys, I cannot say this enough. Ryan. Sweetie. If you cannot get Sarah, Evan, or Lily in a season as a main character, please, for the love of God, it is better that you do not even make the season at all. I know that's controversial to say, and let me tell you, I love Billy. She is like, she's such a light in this world. I love her, and like, she definitely was a really good thing in this season. But it's just like, why in the world? I don't understand. I just, and you can see when I saw the intro and when I saw the casting announcement for this season, you can imagine what was going through my head. I was not excited for this. This was the one that I was the least excited for ever. Somehow whenever I watch this season, I fall asleep. Like, literally every time I watch this, for the first couple of episodes, I fall asleep. 1984 is not horrible. It's not awful. It's actually kind of good. And when I watched it again, I realized that, okay, this is strange to me, because in the beginning it's actually like kind of at its best, but then it dips, then it goes up again, then it dips and it goes up again. It's like the most bipolar season ever. And the first time I watched it, I fell asleep, and I chose to sleep instead of watch it like three or four episodes in. And then Lily actually was in it, but I didn't know that. So I I wasn't able to watch it because I stopped watching it because it bored me so much. And then Lily came in and it got better, but I wasn't there to see it. And it was just this huge, like, it was just this huge thing. Like, I don't understand. Like, Ryan, if you cannot have Who Makes American Horror Story, do not have American Horror Story that year. Like, at least it's a main. And if you are going to have one of the mains eventually come in, Lily, if you're gonna have Lily come in, just tell me. Just tell me. Because I did not know. And I got... It just... There are so many issues with... There are so many issues with this. The first one, and I don't feel like people are talking about this enough, and it might just be me and how maybe it just left a bad taste in my mouth, but let me tell you, Mr. Jingles scared the shit out of me, and it was like all of a sudden he was this good man who wanted to protect his son and wanted to have a normal life. Like literally all of a sudden it was like he suddenly turned like a good person. I never understood that. Can someone please explain to me, like, how he went from being a murderer to being a good person? Like, literally that. It's not even like we got to see how he turned good. We got to see how he turned bad. We got to see his traumatic childhood and all that shit. Let me tell you, how did he turn good, though? Like, I don't understand. I don't understand. That is not realistic. He's a serial killer, and like painting him in a good light, like he's suddenly this good person, did not sit well with me at all. And also, it was a huge thing was everyone hating each other. That was a huge thing about, like, everyone hated each other. Everyone wanted to kill each other. Like, everyone, like, one man was against another, like, this whole entire time. And it got very repetitive to me because that was like a huge part of what it was. And it was so, I don't think that should ever be like, I shouldn't say ever. I don't think that should normally be like a huge... You shouldn't just focus a whole entire season on people hating each other because it gets boring, and it did get boring because literally all it was people trying to kill each other in the camp, and that was it was pretty boring. However, is there a good side to this? I don't even know. Like I said, I really love Billy in this season. Obviously I love Lily in the season. A weird thing though is I actually liked Emma's character, which, no offense, but like that's normally doesn't happen for me, but I actually liked her character. And I will say though, another thing about this is the characters were typically either really good or really bad, and they were very not relatable, and it's just, they did not do a very good job, let me tell you. They did not do a very good job. And also the intro was bad. It was bad. And also the premise, like, I'm not an 80s girl by any means. I don't really care too much about the 80s, to be completely honest with you. And that I would have been okay with that if you would actually like use it to the best of your ability. But what happened with this for a lot of people is a lot of people who actually do like the 80s got excited with it, but then they saw what Ryan actually did with it and they got disappointed. And it's just, there was kind of a lot of potential, but they just kind of threw it out the window, and I was not very happy with how, I mean, I wasn't completely disappointed because, I mean, at least like Lily was in it and for a little while, but it wasn't completely my cup of tea. I don't know. Now we get to Hotel. This is also very problematic. Let me tell you this. For whoever is watching this, who this might apply to, please, for the love of all that is holy, do not start with this season. Please do not start with this season. It'd even be better for you if you started out with Colt, than if you started with a Hotel. Do not start watching Hotel. Don't, because it's like, it's gonna send you on the wrong foot, and you're gonna like not gonna want to watch it anymore because you're not gonna see the good. Do not start with Hotel. Okay, take my word for it. Don't. There were things that I liked about it, let me tell you, but it got pretty boring and pretty repetitive, and it was just, the beginning was not very exciting for me because it didn't like draw me in, and like, I'm gonna say this, and a lot of you guys are gonna be like, well, no shit, you feel this way, but I think that like this kind of an objective opinion, but I think like the very beginning was really boring, but then once you got to Devil's Night, it was actually like kind of interesting, even though Devil's Night in itself was very problematic because you had serial killers there. So it's like, with this one, the moments that were very entertaining were also very problematic. And Ryan just, it's like, a lot of people, because, you know, Hotel came after Freak Show, a lot of people after Freak Show were asking for more. I was not one of those people, but a lot of people were like asking for more after Freak Show. And I think Ryan saw that and he was like, you want horror, I'll give you more horror. But he did it in a way that was totally not what anyone wanted, pretty much. I think really, I mean, if you like Lady Gaga, this is the one for you, but like, I just, the one with the kids, the vampire kids in the school, that rubbed me the wrong way. I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like that was problematic too, because it was like, it was terrifying, and it just, I don't, like, am I the only one who thinks that this is just a very problematic season? Like, and there are like people talking about that you shouldn't have serial killers, and the portrayal of the serial killers was problematic, and like, it's just everything. I, of course, like, for me, like, of course, I'm gonna say this, Lily like saved the season for me, because like when she came in, she like made it go from boring to not boring and like really entertaining and really interesting. But then she left, of course she left, and I don't know, but like Lily was like the thing that I like about this season the most, more than any other season. And I don't know, it was like a weird mix from not being interesting to being way too much and being too problematic, and just a lot of people had issues with it. And I don't know, I'm just gonna leave it there, because I don't know, it wasn't awful, but it also wasn't, you know, it was a little, it seemed like Ryan was a little like off his rocker just a tad when he worked with this one, let me tell you. Okay, the next one, Apocalypse. I actually do not dislike the season a whole lot. I really don't dislike it a ton. I don't. I think it's pretty interesting, and if you know anything about me, you know that I love the premise of it. I mean, it was really good. It was really good. I really do, I did liked it a lot. But the reason why it's in this, like why it's pretty down on my list, is because it doesn't have the criteria to be my absolute favorite. But I do really like this season, and I really liked how they like went to Murder House and how they went to Coven. The one where they went to Murder House, that was like one of the best episodes in it, and it just, I do like a lot of the things that they did with it. And when they use music from other seasons, that got me really hyped too. And when Stevie came back, that was a very emotional experience. That was really sweet and awesome. And I just, like, Misty is one of the best characters on this planet, so like it was really cool to see her. And there was Lily, and it was just, I liked it a lot. But I will say, even though it's not one of my least favorite seasons, when people say that it is their least favorite season and the reasons they give, I totally understand where they're coming from, and I can almost like agree with them. Like when somebody says how boring Apocalypse is, or how I don't know, just how they don't like it, like I don't necessarily agree with them, but I also see where they're coming from, and a tiny, like, I get it. Like, it's not the greatest, but for me personally, I liked it. I think that's just because I don't I'm just looking for to keep me entertained. And so like, and oh my gosh, I can't even believe I didn't even like mention this. Mallory was in it, and that was so awesome. I loved the fact that Mallory was in Apocalypse, because that is my freaking name, and I love Billy, and that is one of the things that really sold the season for me, because like Mallories are nowhere, and there was a Mallory in this season, and she was a very like important part of it. She was like, I don't want to like give too many spoilers, but she played a very important role. And I love Mallory, and that was one of the things that sold this season for me. But also just like a lot of other things, like the premise sold it for me, Lily sold it for me, Billy as Mallory sold it for me. What else? The fact that they went to like Murder House sold it for me. And the fact that the witches from Coven were there, so like there are so many things that this just makes this I wouldn't say gold because it's not on my top list, but bronze. Let's just say it makes it bronze, you guys. Okay, so my next two ones that I'm gonna say, I was really struggling with these. These were the ones that I was struggling with the most because I didn't know which one to put before the other one. And I think they can be kind of interchangeable, because the next two ones I'm about to share with you are either tied or they're very close to being tied. And like I said, it's hard because they are tied, but they're not, because they're so different. And it's hard when you have two things that are so different from each other to be tied with each other, because there's different things that I like and dislike about each one. So like I said, these next two ones are very close in the running with each other, but I decided to put them where they are for this list because I feel like it's the most accurate. So they are Murder House. Okay, I think Murder House is incredibly important because it was like the selling point. It was like it was the first one, obviously, and it like gave a lot of like selling points, and a lot of it it really like set up the show, and it has a lot of elements that people that like were still in later seasons as well. I really like Murder House. I don't know. Another thing, it's very hard for me to say who my favorite characters are. It's easy for me to say who like my favorite actors are, but it's like not really easy for me to say who my favorite characters are because they're so different. And I just like, if I like who's playing the characters, I'll like the character no matter what. Even if they're a serial killer or a crazy bitch, I'll still love the character because of who's playing them. So it's like, it's hard for me to say who my favorite character is. However, I will say that like Nora Montgomery just like is very it's very interesting to me. I don't even know like why. I just like she's a very interesting character to me, and I just think it was very cool to like watch that character in particular. I also love Taysa, and I just this was pretty gold. I will tell you, and the characters were very complex. And another thing that I really liked is how the ghosts interacted with the humans. I thought it was like so cool. Like one of my favorite parts of the season was when Nora walked into the house with Vivian and like had like an actual conversation with each other. Like I just thought the whole like ghost interacting with the human thing was so interesting to me. And it has a lot of originality, and it's like, I think most people, I will say that it starts off a kind of a little bit boring. Like I remember 4 years ago, I was kind of like, in the beginning I was kind of bored, and I was kind of like, do I really want to roll with this? But then it totally saved itself, and it's like, for some people it's like definitely why American Horror Story is as good as it is. It is gold. I don't know. The next one that is pretty tied, like almost, with Murder House is Freak Show. Freak Show is typically one that people either hate or love. I honestly don't. It's like in the middle for me. Like, it's not one of my favorites, but it's also like I definitely don't hate it. I do like it a lot, but oh my gosh, Pepper's backstory, I cannot watch that without crying and my heart breaking. Like, Orphans, the episode called Orphans, literally it breaks my heart. Like every single time I watch that I cry. Like what Pepper went through and what Pepper has to deal with for the rest of her life because of like this lie that's been told about. Like I love Pepper. I think everyone loves Pepper, and I cannot watch that without like crying and my heart just breaking and like me sobbing into tears. And I normally don't cry when I watch this shit, but I do cry with that because y'all, my heart just breaks whenever I freaking see what happened to Pepper. Let me tell you. Another thing, and this is the thing that really makes my stomach just, and it's almost something that I think probably makes this kind of lower on my list, probably, is the finale. The finale, I want to kind of go out on a whim here and say that it wasn't necessary what happened. I don't think it was necessary what they did. And it was, for me, it wasn't even like a horror element. It was just a devastating, like, heart ripping out of my chest moment. And when I was watching it, I was just kind of like, does this do I have to see this shit? Because this is just, it rubbed me the wrong way, and it was really hard to watch, and I did not like what they did with that. I'm just gonna say that I do not like that. It's probably the most problematic episode for me because of what they did, and I don't know, it might just be the only one who thinks that, because a lot of other people don't really talk about like how it's problematic, but the finale really rubbed me the wrong way, let me tell you. So that's like the thing that I didn't like about it. So it was for sure the most devastating season, but I loved the characters. I absolutely loved the theme. I loved the theme so much. Like whenever something is shot at a circus or at a fair, I don't know why, but I love things that are at circuses and fairs. I just get so excited, like video games, like movie, like literally whatever. If it's at a fair, I love it. I don't know why, but I like Freak Show was my favorite theme, I want to say, that they ever did. and I loved the characters. I loved the diversity of the characters. I loved how like every character was different. I loved that. And I'll also say that this was the scariest season for me, which also it's kind of weird because people say that that Freak Show wasn't a horror season, which I don't understand how that could. Maybe I'm just a scaredy cat and scared of like everything, but I literally thought this was the scariest season, the scariest shit. Like I said before, Twisty scares the living shit out of me, and just his mouth really freaks me out. It really freaked me out. And so with this is lower on my list because of how problematic it was, and also because Lily was not in it enough. It could not be, it does not have the potential to be my favorite season. However, now we're getting into the top 3, the runners up in the top 3. Each of these have potential to be my favorite. You guys will see as I go up the list why my number 1 favorite is my number 1 favorite, but every single one in my runner-up has the potential to be my favorite, if that makes sense. I love, like, my heart, like, each one of these has a special piece in my heart, and I love them. So, my third favorite is Coven. Coven definitely has the potential to be my first favorite, but it's my third favorite because of where the other 2 that I'm about to tell you lie. Coven for me it had my favorite episode ever. 7 Wonders was my favorite episode in the whole entire world. I loved how it was like a music video in the beginning, and I loved how they set it up, and I loved how like they each gave every single person a spotlight. I loved 7 Wonders. I think that it was one that like literally, if you want to do something right, and like if you want to do something that like my opinion of how something should be shot is how 7 Wonders definitely like encompasses that, and like they did a great job with that. Although something really sad happened. Misty died, and Misty was trapped in hell forever. So that part of it, I did not like that Misty was in hell forever. But and also it is the most woman empowering season ever. It has so much woman empowerment. I love it, and it has very complex characters, like very complex. Obviously I love Misty. I absolutely love her. Like I feel like I can definitely relate to her a lot. Like I can probably relate to her the most. And I love this season. And I feel like literally everyone loves this season. Most people do. Like if you don't love Coven, what are you thinking, to be honest with you? But like, so a lot of people love it, but I love Coven so much. My second favorite one, which I know for a fact I'm gonna get like hate for this, because people are not gonna agree with me when I tell you my second favorite one, because my second favorite season is a lot of people's like it's at a lot of people's like it's a down in the list for a lot of people, because a lot of people really don't like this season. But I do have good reasons for why this season is my second favorite, and it is Roanoke. Oh my gosh, I love Roanoke for so many reasons. One reason is it's like my my hometown's story, my hometown's history. So I love that. That is like, it's, you know, it's like my season and all. So, oh my gosh. And also, I loved that Lily was in it so much. Lily was in it so much, and I love that. I loved how Sarah played Lily's character. Love that. And it was pretty freaking scary. Like, there were several things that were pretty freaking horrifying. And if you don't think that's horror, I don't know what to tell you, because that was freaking scary. I will say the first time I watched this, I was very confused because it was difficult for me. Like, I wasn't able to tell what was real and what wasn't at first. This is gonna make me sound stupid, but like, at first I didn't know what was them acting and what was them which wasn't them acting, because it was like they were doing a show about what had already happened, and that really confused me, because like at first I was like, is this actually happening or are they just pretending? I don't know, because that would really confuse me at first. And that, I think the first time I watched it, it took away a lot of the horror elements. But like like watching it a second time, I really wasn't confused, and I really like it. Like, it's one of the few, like one of the only seasons where I'm never bored. Like, there was never a moment, maybe like one or two moments the whole entire season where I was actually bored, and like, so my attention was there the whole entire time. I love it. I will say that it sucks that they didn't have an intro. Like, I don't understand why they didn't have an intro. I totally think they should have done that, because a good thing, like one of the American Horror Stories like good things is their intros, and they didn't even make one for Roanoke, so I didn't understand why they did that. I also absolutely loved the whole like Big Brother like reality show, people fighting and getting into drama aspect of it, because I think it added like a lot of humor to it. I don't know, like, I think this one for me for sure has all the aspects I look for, and it's like my season. Like, it's shot in my home, like it's about my hometown. It has Lily in it a lot. I'm never bored. Like, I literally think like this is my season, and like I cannot possibly like not like the season. Like, this is my season. I love it. Like, they did a great job. A lot of other people think otherwise, but I really like this season. Okay. Now y'all really, oh my gosh. Now y'all really about to understand my first favorite one. And I will tell you, there's a very good reason why my first favorite season is my first favorite season. And the reason why makes it so that no other season can ever, like, this season is going to stay my favorite forever because of this reason. And it's a lot of other people's favorite as well. And that is Asylum. Oh my gosh. Asylum, you guys, it literally changed my life. And I'm not just saying that to be cute, like, oh, it's changed my life, I love it so much. Like, no, it literally changed my life. Like, I'm not shitting you guys. It like literally changed my life, because it is the one thing out of anything in the world that sat my little 14-year-old ass down and was like, listen, you're a homosexual. And when something like makes you realize something that about yourself, it like stays important part of you for the rest of your life. And it's what made me love Lily so much. I absolutely love Lily, hence how I found out I was gay. And she's so like talented, and I think like her range, like she can do anything, and she's so talented. And it literally changed my life, and like you can't really go back from that. Like, and this was, keep in mind you guys, it was like the fall winter of, what year was it? I don't even know, 2015, 2016. And I realized that like I was not straight. Like it was what made me realize that I wasn't straight. And after that I was just kind of like, okay, I guess we're going on this ride, you know. I also love the Name Game, and I love iconic moments. Like it had really iconic moments, like the Name Game. I love that. I love Lana's character as well. And it had so many important moments. I cannot even tell you guys. Like it had a victim story. It had the devil. It had demons. It had aliens. It had so many different things. Like it had so many different things and put it all into like one season. It's so amazing. I absolutely, like, my heart just goes out to it. I love it. And it has a lot of range because of everything that it included. Like it has the most range ever. Like, I can't even like talk about this enough because it's such a revolutionary season. Revolutionary for me. I love Asylum. I cannot even with Asylum. I just can't. It is like I know it's the same thing about Roanoke, but I love Asylum too. Like it is my season because it's literally what changed my life, and it's what made me have, like, literally I can't even explain it to you. It's like it's what made me have this epiphany and made me realize that I was gay. Like literally 1 second I was like, I'm straight, and then like an epiphany, like an epiphany moment, like, oh my god, I'm gay. Like literally, like it made me realize about that. It made me realize that about myself. And I really think it's just because like Lily's so talented, and like watching her be so talented and be able to do like such an amazing job and like literally like have the range that she has and do all amazing things that she did, it made me realize like that, oh my god, like I am not a straight bitch, you know what I'm saying? And it's what made me like love Lily so much. So yeah, that is all of the seasons so far ranked in order. Whenever they are going to, oh my gosh, I have to say this too. I am so excited for the Ocean. They haven't released the theme yet, but like whatever they're gonna be doing with season 10, because the casting is perfect casting. I hope they don't screw it up, because they have the perfect cast and the most potential, and I really hope they don't screw it up, because just the cast alone can make this be like one of the top, like at one of my top of the lists for me. But I can't really review it until obviously after it like comes out, and I don't think it's gonna come out. They're saying it's not gonna come out until 2021. So that's just gonna be something for another day, I suppose. So yeah, that's all of the seasons ranked in order from least favorite to most favorite. If you disagree with me, which odds are at some point you did, love to hear your opinions down below. And yeah, thank you for watching, and bye.